us all together. Lord, we gather in your name as children of a sovereign God. Forever we proclaim, to God be all glory.
Well, good morning. How you doing? It is Thursday, January the 22nd, 2026. Welcome to episode 572 of The Thinking Theologian as we continue our journey through the scriptures. So today, where we're at, we are in Genesis chapter 30 through 31. The title of today is Not Everyone Appreciates God's Favor in Your Life. Biblical scriptures in Genesis chapter 31, verse 5, and this is what it says. He said to them, I can see from your father's face his attitude toward me is not the same as before, but the God of my father has been with me. So when things go well for you, do the people in your life celebrate your victories? Or do they try to diminish what is happening? And so I once dealt with a person that would look for any opportunity to criticize me or find a problem with anything I was involved with. It didn't matter what it was. It got even worse when other people would compliment what I was doing to this individual. And once this person saw me again, they would attempt to complain and criticize every decision that I made. Instead of celebrating victories, this individual had a heart of destruction, especially when they were not being promoted. And so what I'm trying to say here is this, is that, I never went out of my way. And eventually somebody else saw this pattern that when, because this person was my supervisor. I guess you can call him that, my supervisor. And so they would be around certain people and people would see the job I was doing. And so they would compliment me to this individual and say how great of a job I was doing. They were amazed at what was happening, what was going on. And I know it seems like self-serving, but it's not intended to be, but it's just kind of illustrating the point because I didn't know what was happening. But other people kind of picked up on it. But every time that I was complimented, praised, said how amazing things were going, what was taking place and what was happening, and this person was told this, the person that was observing the interactions noticed how this person's demeanor changed. They got upset and mad. And the next time they saw me, it never failed. Every single time, the next moment they had me alone, they wouldn't do it in front of other people. They had me alone. They would try to rip me apart and complain about what was happening, what was going on. And, just all types of things they would say. It progressively got worse and worse and worse and worse. And this person even had the attitude like this in many other areas, is that when other people were complimented, they would take it to heart. There's another time I'm thinking about where someone made a compliment about how they really liked this person for a particular reason. And this individual for like a couple of weeks kept talking about how, well, I don't know why I'm here because, they like so-and-so better than me. Like it was always like something, instead of realizing that different people have different gifts and celebrating what is going on, understanding that you have a certain role, and that's what needs to happen. We don't need to be criticizing people when things are going on and people are seeing success. But we do that because we like tearing them down. I'm going to kind of get that in a minute. In today's reading, Jacob realizes that Laban has turned his face against him, and it broke the relationship. Jacob knew that just no longer was Laban in favor of him. No longer, so Laban was excited when he had Jacob as a worker. He got him for 14 years, 7 years for one wife, 7 years for another. God's favor was upon him. And so he kind of got that favor on Jacob, also extended to Laban. However, now Jacob is being blessed more, and it is intimidating Laban. And so Jacob picks, basically all the animals that nobody else wants, and God continues to use that and bless him, and he gets more in the midst of what should be bad animals. He's getting more and more favor. And Laban's like, I can't have this. I don't like this. I'm not real happy for it. Instead of realizing, hey, this person's successful, God's hand is upon him. Let's kind of chill out a little bit. And so Laban was jealous of another person's success because he wanted it all for himself. And this is how you can tell what people's hearts really are. Are they talking good about you when things are going well, or are they diminishing you and talking, well, I can't believe so and so did this and so did that? We don't need that to be the type of person. That is a bad attitude to have. So what about you? Do you celebrate other people, even if it means that you aren't celebrated? And so that is a true test of where you are. Like, do you celebrate other people? Like, look, they got to win. It's awesome. They're being promoted. They're seeing great success. Are you happy for them? The Bible teaches us that we should lift one another up, especially when they are successful, because if they're a believer, you get to promote God in this and not the individual. Hopefully that's what will happen. The Bible also teaches that we shouldn't have a heart that is prideful. And that's what jealousy is. It's pride. We should consider others above ourselves. We should promote others, even when things are not going our way, even when things are falling apart. Let's build people up who are being successful. If God chooses to bless an individual, that should be a moment for celebration, not destruction. And so we have to examine our own hearts that we're not like this. We're not talking about people. We're not tearing people down. We're not being, people who have bad attitudes, and how God decides to use and bless others in what they're called to do. So I want you to examine yourself on how you treat others who are successful. I also want to ask you if you promote others who have what you want. So maybe there's a goal you want to accomplish, and maybe you haven't got there yet, or you don't feel like there's going to be a way. Do you promote people who have what you want? You're like, hey, this person's successful, and I'm going to celebrate them instead of tearing them down. And so jealousy has no place in the kingdom of God. It also has no place amongst individuals. As believers, we should be careful who we let into our circles of influence, because not everybody's truly your friend. They all act like it, but they're really not. Because when God begins to move in your life, you need promoters, not destroyers. And so a hard lesson to learn is one where you see the jealousy and vindictiveness of people. Because even though it's kind of weird, I trust people that they're going to do the right thing, that they're going to be honest, that they're not going to do anything with evil intent. But I've learned that is not the case, because you see a heart that is focused on themselves and not the Lord is a problem. And so you see a personality that does not need to be in leadership. You also see a mentality that is never happy and looks to cause division. So this is the type of person that we talk about. I just said, a hard lesson to learn is where you see the jealousy and vindictiveness of people. And so in these people, you see a heart that is focused on themselves. And that's what I was trying to say. You see a heart that's focused on themselves and not on the Lord. You see a personality that does not need to be in leadership. I want to make sure I was clear on that. You also see a mentality that's never happy and looks to cause division. True friends will celebrate your victories, even when their own personal life is falling apart. I know that's the second time I've said it, but it bears in mind. People who tear you down in front of you or behind your back are not your friend, and they're not even being a decent person when they do that. So what type of friend are you? What type of boss are you? What type of leader are you? Do you promote the success of others? Even if you're the person on top of an organization, if someone beneath you gets great success and does good things, do you build them up and promote them, or do you tear them down? So are you a friend who celebrates others? Are you? Our heart should always be toward the good of other people. And it should. We should not assume the worst in people, especially when God is deciding to bless them. Now, when we don't live that way, it reveals a cold and wicked heart. So like that person I was talking about earlier, they had a cold and wicked heart. They would continually and constantly talk about people. It is just an issue this person has. Hopefully the Lord will deal with. So our calling is to live like Jesus, and that means making people a priority, especially in building them up as individuals. And so are you known as a person that builds others up, or do you tear people down? And we cannot be the people who tear down. We must be builders of people and builders of the kingdom, because that allows a good conversation to take place. I'm not saying you can't have hard conversations. People shouldn't be critiqued and people shouldn't be corrected. But what I am saying is we can't have a mentality that's all we do and all we think about, especially when it goes against our wants and our desires. Hope that makes sense. I understand what I'm trying to say on this, but it may not make sense. But hopefully you get what I'm getting at, is that not everyone's going to appreciate when God works in your life, and you have to be wary of that. So tomorrow we're going to be in Genesis chapter 32 through 34. Have a good day.